to another episode of the Limitless Podcast. I'm your host, Dr.TonyHolmes, and today I have a special guest with me, the illustrious Sheree Bogany. How you doing, ma'am?
I'm good. How are you, Dr.TonyHolmes?
I'm good.
Heavy on the doctor.
Heavy on the doctor. I appreciate that. No, I'm good. Glad we could get this done and get this on the schedule. This is one of the most busiest women in Houston, Texas, and I'm honored to share space with you. How you been?
I'm good. I'm good.
You want to introduce yourself to the people for those that may not know who you are?
I am Sheree Bogany, known on social media as Principal Auntie. I'm a trailblazing educator, a God-fearing woman, a wife, a bonus mom, other duties as assigned, whether that's mentor, keynote. One of the biggest, outside of being God-fearing and a wife, my biggest accolade is being an evangelist. And so that's what I enjoy.
Love that. Can you tell us how you got the name Principal Auntie? The people want to know, and I'm the people.
So when I became an administrator 16 years ago, and so students would always be like, Auntie, right? And so it just transformed into thing. I think it was a term of endearment that really became who I was in the journey. I was the auntie, right? So when I do speaking engagements, I always say, Auntie, like I'm your friend, your mentor, your trusted confidant, the person who says yes when everybody says no. But I'm also the person that's going to keep it real. And so students know that when I was their administrator, whether that was assistant principal, associate principal, lead principal, or the principal, I'm going to keep it real. We're going to follow the rules. We're going to be ethical. And I'm going to tell you I love you. Yeah. All in the same tone. Redirection comes with I love you. Direction comes with I love you. So that's what it is.
Yeah, just like a good auntie.
Just like an auntie.
A good auntie going to hold you accountable and send you home with your mama.
And send you home, yeah. Right. So, I know I'm not in that realm anymore, but, parents, it's spring break. Yeah. It's your turn.
So speaking of that a little bit, talk about the importance of this generation having those types of people that's going to keep it real with them beyond, their parents or folks that are home with them.
So you have to have a village, right? So we hear it all the time. It takes a village. It takes a village. It really does take a village. While your mom or dad or whoever is raising you, they can do their part, but everybody has to do their part, right? There is no job that anybody can get without stepping to the teacher realm first. Your first encounter is going to always be a teacher, whether that's the teacher at the daycare, that's, your teacher, your pre-K through 5 or pre-K through 12. A teacher is a part of that. So I think the village is comprised of a lot of individuals to help you get from point A to point B. The village can consist of people that aren't even labeled or named. They're just a part of the process, meaning that person that corrected you at the grocery store, they're a part of your village because that's something you're going to take with you forever. I remember being at church when I was young, and my mom would wake up kids. I would be so embarrassed. She would be like, wake up, get up. And I'm like, them not your kids. Why are you tapping them? But I wonder if they think back now, especially if they have kids now and they're telling their kids to wake up and get up, just that she was a part of somebody's village and didn't even know it,
Wow. Do you think we've lost some of those recipes today?
So I think that some of it is lost, but some of it has gained, right? Some of it is lost just because we have this mindset of that ain't my business. I'm out the way, this and that. So sometimes we don't like to correct and redirect, right? Because that's not my lane. That's not my kids. But you still have it. When you think about social media, while there's a lot of negative things on social media, there are a lot of good things on social media as well. Sometimes those itty bitty lessons, I love when I see Slim Thug posts. I love Lil Kiki's little moments that he kind of talks every week, just kind of gives you those tidbits for life. So I think that it's still happening, but it's happening in some ways in different facets. But it's still happening. We're still correcting. We're still helping. It's just it comes in all ways, shapes, and forms.
Yeah. I appreciate what you're saying, and with your experience, you said 16 years of working in education and working with students. What do people who may be listening to this who may not be connected to kids or students these days, what do they need to know about this generation of students?
So I've actually been I'm a 22-year educator with 16 of those being in school leadership and 1 year being in higher ed. I'll say that this generation, like, they're brave, right? Like, we were raised to go to school and get a job. Go to school, get a job. This generation, they are like, oh, I'm gonna be the richest person alive. I'm not going to college. I'm gonna go be an entrepreneur and do this. I'm getting ready to open up this. Even at, my birthday party, the person that did my photography was a student in ISD. And he was like the bomb. And it was like his turnaround, his professionalism. Like, this guy's, he a senior, And so I'm thinking, like, dang, when he get 25, he's really gonna be doing it. So I think that what people need to know is that this generation of children that are coming out, they are leaders, they're natural born leaders, they're brave. They will do things beyond our imagination, and we have to be okay with that. So I'm a real big proponent. One of the things that everybody knows about Principal Auntie is that I used to say, you either going to leave here enrolled, enlisted, or employed, but what you will not do is go back to your mama's house. Okay, and so what that means, enrolled, enlisted, employed, enrolled in some type of program. Doesn't have to be college. You can go get your wellness certificate and make more than most people. Enlisted, shout out to everybody that served in the military. That's an opportunity of a lifetime, not only to serve the country, but to have lifelong benefits, right? Or employed. You can go and get a job, start a business, be an entrepreneur, but go do something. And so that's kind of my big thing. This generation, some of them do all of them. They don't miss a beat. Like, they enroll somewhere, they got a business on the side, and they employed. And so I think that's the difference. Like, they're a lot more brave than my generation. And I feel like they get it, and they get it early. And so I feel like they also fail early to have the platform that they need to be successful.
Wow. And shout out to this generation, man. Y'all some hustlers. We see y'all.
Real hustlers.
Y'all gonna get it, and we just be standing on the side. How they do that?
Right.
And they done already done 3 more things
right.
after that.
I'm like, she 21 in a C-Class Mercedes. Okay.
Shout out to social media and TikTok changing the game.
Right.
So you talked about transitions now. So what's Sheree up to now, and what is life like?
So right now, I'm an executive for corporate and community partnerships for Abilene Christian University. And so that job allows me to still be connected to the K-12 world. I do live by and believe as iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. So I'm able to do that through my job every day and help people get from first base to home plate, whether that's getting a degree, whether that's getting their teacher certification, whether that's leveling up their degree, meaning that they're going from a bachelor's to a master's or a master's to a doctoral program. So I'm able to not only do that, but work at a Christian organization. So God has blessed me with that opportunity to really do something I love, and be in spaces with people that I love, adore, look up to. So it's a true blessing. Outside of that, I'm still Principal Auntie. Even when I'm doing that, I'm still Principal Auntie. I'm doing a lot of speaking engagements, a lot of keynotes, because I use my journey to empower others, right? Like, everybody sees the awards, they see the trailblazing, they see all the wins, but nobody sees the no's, nobody sees the losses, nobody sees the personal struggles that have been like a professional struggle, right? Nobody sees that. So I highlight those things. So like yesterday I was meeting with an executive in one school district, and she said, I heard your keynote at T-Spra, and I was just like, I would have never known. And I said, and that's the thing, like, you're supposed to never know, right? Because I want you to see the success, but when I talk to you, I want you to hear the journey to the success. And so the journey comes with a lot of lows and no's, but the journey is high. Like, if you see it, everything is like a win. Like, I remember someone telling my husband, oh, she needs to really, kind of just be more authentic with what she does. And I was like, and he was like, she's probably the most authentic person you can know. But then I realized this person has never heard me speak, nor have you had a conversation with me about the journey. Because I'm going to tell you, while being the first African American here and there, that's great. I've opened doors for people. I took a lot of wounds. I took a lot on the chin. It was plenty of nights that I had to be lifted up. I had to pray a lot and have a lot of people pray for me all the time to survive that. So,
yeah, that's amazing. I'm sure there are people listening to this that can relate, because this whole podcast is all about empowerment. So if people listening to this are folks that want to do better, they want to win. You may be one win away. So hopefully you're taking some nuggets today. Speaking of that, TED Talk.
TED Talk.
Tell me about that, because we saw it. I saw it. I was like, that is amazing. So walk me through the process of what it was like being on that stage and sharing some things that you shared with the people.
Man, that was like a dream come true, right? Like, Principal Auntie is now a TEDx speaker. And so the story was win, W-I-N, not win, W-H-E-N, right? And so I just talked about that. That's what I talk about, my journey. And so I'm real big on, my statement. To be early is to be on time. To be on time is to be late. To be late is to be left out and locked out. Do not get locked out. So when I talk about being locked out, I'm talking about being locked out of life, being locked out of opportunity, being locked out of the possibilities of being great. And so I relate that to every piece of my life. Even use a football reference that sometimes you got to go replay the call, right? So,
that's good.
Football, the referees, they stop the game because we don't know if they scored the touchdown or not. Referee goes and looks at, does the instant replay and comes back the middle of the field with authority and clarity and says, after further review, we've determined the player did not score a touchdown. Ball will go to the 15-yard line, third down. Right? So I talk about how sometimes we thought we won. You just said when people almost win or they're close to a win, but you got to go back and redo it and replay it and modify it. So that experience, shout out to Net Alliance for even picking me for the opportunity. I'm going to tell you, several people had texted me, you should apply, you should apply, you should apply. Overlooked it. The last text I got, Dr. Alicia Morgan texted me, and she was like, you really should do it. One of my husband's best friends that was growing up, Erica Lewis, shout out to Erica, she had texted me and Alicia, like all in that same span. And I was like, okay, everybody keeps sending this to me. Let me just go ahead and apply. So on the application, it said, like, your YouTube or stuff that you've done. And I was like, well, I don't have any. I mean, I just have my HEB speech. I won HEB Principal of the Year. So I was like, let me just send the link from the speech. So I sent the link, ended up getting selected. And I was like, this has to be an error. Like, and when we got on, they were saying, like, so many people applied, and it was down to just the 8 that they selected. And so it was a surreal experience, practicing at 4 a.m, practicing at night, falling asleep, practicing, just rehearsing, because I'm used to having like my slides or, paper in front of me where I can at least reference. It's my story, so it's easy to tell. But doing that, you have to be on a time cadence and make sure you hit all your points. So it was a blessing. The biggest blessing was the amount of people that showed up for me. Shout out to my village that keeps me going. My best friend that went in, because, Larry was on full assignment, like taking pictures, doing the whole thing. And she said, if you're here for Sheree, come outside. And like the amount of people that came outside, I was like, this is crazy. Because when you're up there, you can only see the first 2 rows. Yeah. So I didn't really know who was there and who wasn't out of the first 2 rows. Yeah. And so I came out, seen some of my friends from like high school, college, and they were like, we're getting ready to go to a concert. You did great. One of your frat brothers that I'm real close with, he was like, I'm getting ready to go win. I just had to come. And so I knew that he had saw it because he said that. Yeah. He was like, I got to go. He's a doctor, works in a pharmacy at the hospital. So he was like, I got to go. But he was like, I'm winning today. And I was like, okay. So, there were people that were there that I didn't even get to see. My Aunt Barbara, that were just sending little things to let me know like I was in the audience. And so it was really dope. super excited about what's going to come next from that. I hope that opens up opportunities for me to be able to share my story with the world. Like, you got Principal Kafele, and I want to be Principal Auntie, right? Yeah. And so it's funny because I've seen him 100 times, and we've met 100 times. But when I talked to him in Chicago in December, he was like, Principal Auntie. He was like, your name is it? Like, let's connect. And so I'm super excited about just working with him and having that opportunity. So it was dope for him to even he was like, Auntie, yeah. Like, he sent me an email, let's connect. So that was cool.
It's amazing. That's amazing, man. Shout out to the village, right?
The village.
Nothing like a village to keep you up, lifted,
right,
when you need the most, and then all those people showed up for you because you poured into them in some kind of way. So shout out to the village, man. What would you say to people who listen to this who are afraid to tell their story? Maybe they have a story to tell. There's too many wounds, too many pains, too many no's, too many things they feel holding them back from opening their mouth and saying what the world needs to hear.
So I'm going to say that your story is your story for a reason. Nobody's on your journey but you. And so the journey is a blessing. No matter if it's a hard journey, if it's easy, it's all a blessing. And your blessing is a lesson for somebody else. So there was probably a time in my life that I wouldn't have told my journey because I was kind of raised to be out the way. Like, we were not the family that was in other people's business, and we didn't want anybody in our business. You know, like, that's just how I was raised. We kept everything copacetic, and that's how we operated. So for me to be in a space now where I'm very authentic and transparent, a lot of that comes from God, right? Because I want people to understand that faith will get you where you need to go. Believing in God will get you where you need to go. More than anything, just be a blessing to other people, right? So when it's all said and done, I want, whoever eulogizes me to be able to say, well done, good and faithful servant, and it's really true. You know how many times we sit at funerals and be like, who they talking about? I want the words that said about me to be real, to be the truth, for people to be in that audience and feel that I've impacted their life, right? So that's my ultimate goal. And so as long as I continue to do this work and feel like that I'm blessing other people, and also being a blessing to my family and serving, my family, my husband, and being just a friend to all mankind as far as living a Christian way, doing things the right way.
I want to wrap up on that note, but before I do, I gotta. The spirit is telling me to ask you to share to people who might be listening to this about the power of God in your life. Like, how important is that, and how impactful has God been to you to put you on this platform, this place where you are today?
So God is like, the Alpha and Omega, right? Like, so I never walk around like I'm perfect or I've done everything right, because I haven't. I've done a lot of wrong. I've done a lot of things, that, like, I'm normal. Like, I'm like everybody else. And so I think sometimes when people see, they're like, oh, she's this, no. My husband and I, we share our journey on purpose and with purpose for that reason, because we want people to know. But we also share for people to do the right thing, too. And we share the wrong things that we've done. We share the right things that we've done. So I think with that, nothing is possible without God. Nothing that I've ever done in life, nothing that I've ever accomplished in life has happened without God. My cousin, Dan, may rest in peace, but, he was a lot of things. But I'm going to tell you, no matter how late he was in the club or whatever at night, he got up every Sunday and went to church. And I took that as like a note for myself. Like, no matter what's going on, you don't ever have to be ashamed for God. You know what I mean? Like, you can lay everything down for God. And so I've watched God, literally take all of my prayers and make them a reality. And the prayers that I thought I wanted and he didn't make a reality, I understood why, right? I'm like, ooh, that no was a real blessing to me, later on. And that's one of the things I talked about in the TED Talk. And that's one of the things I talk about in the keynote, like how those no's weren't rejection, they were blessings, right? And so God has just really been truly the biggest push, the wind beneath my wings. You know, being able to pray, being able to lay my burdens down, has really blessed my soul. And just being in a marriage that I feel like we are truly connected to God. I love New Faith Church. That's our church. That's where we go. Even though I travel a lot for my job, you know, any opportunity we get to be there, to be at Bible study, to be around other married couples, even, you know, like you and Crystal, just being able to be around people that are very tied to their marriage and godly people, we take that opportunity. And we take that opportunity to share that information with other people. Yeah. Because being married is a blessing. Being married to the right person is a blessing.
Heavy on the right person.
Heavy on the right person is a blessing. And so God has blessed me with opportunity to be married to my best friend, my soulmate, the person that, you know, I've prayed for, he prays for me, the head of our household. So like I'm that's a blessing, right? And then he's a man of achievement. Won't he do it? Won't the Lord do it? And so with that being said, I thank God for everything that he's done for me. I try to share the good news gospel about God to everybody all the time. And I have friends or people who, you know, I hear things like the Most High, or they don't really give our honor and praises to God. It's not my job to shun them or block them out. It's my job to still show them the way as much as possible. Yeah. So.
Amen. Well, anything you want to share with the people, and even ways that they can connect with you as we wrap up?
So you can connect with me. I'm on all social media outlets. X, I guess that's the Twitter, X, Instagram, LinkedIn, Sheree Bogany on LinkedIn, on Twitter and Instagram, Principal Auntie, Facebook, Principal Auntie. I am wearing, you know, one of my shirts, God's favor equals winning season. Every season is winning season. And I tell people winning season is not like a one-time thing. Like when you win or you get the yes or you get the job that you want, it's not a one-time thing. Winning season is a year-round event. It happens over and over and over again. Even when you feel like you're in a low season, it's a win, right? And so, and I'm just going to end with this short story. I had a friend, he lost his job. He lost his opportunity, and he was real down about that. You know, one thing about, you know, being in school districts and places, it's a political game, too. And so when politics strike, sometimes you're a casualty of it, right? But, you know, I had the conversation and I said, consider it a win. Because if that wouldn't have happened to you, you wouldn't be where you are, because you would have still been in that space. And so sometimes when a door closes for you, that's God shifting you on purpose and with purpose to something better. And so I'm just blessed that every opportunity that I've had from the beginning to now. My first job was at Six Flags Astroworld. Shout out to Astroworld. Truly, probably one of the best jobs you could ever have. Like you're at like literally a big high school, and college, like at work, right? And so, but I learned a lot from working there, and I had the, you know, I started on the Batman Escape and left as a human resource supervisor.
Speaking to my childhood.
Right, yeah, like I worked on the Ultra Twister, I worked on Batman Escape, then I became a secretary in the rides department, and then I shifted to HR where I was an interviewer, and then I left as an HR supervisor. So I learned a lot from working there. That job, you know, I'll never forget a quote that I heard, and this was during orientation. They was like, we're going to lead. We're going to listen, emphasize, assist, and direct. Do you know I still say that now? We're going to listen, we're going to emphasize, we're going to assist, and we're going to direct. And so with that, every opportunity that I've had, every job that I've had, every career that I've had has blessed me to where I am now. Even going through Leadership Houston, which is where we met, that was a big thing. And if you remember my speech on our last day, our graduation day, I said, this job has let me know, number one, that I don't know when I want to be when I grow up. And number two, that there are opportunities out there that I didn't even know existed. And honestly, if I would not have went through Leadership Houston, I would not be in this position that I'm in right now. And it's because just when you've been doing things one way, you don't know that there's another way to do things. And so I was around 48 other people that were doing things all different ways from me. And so it ended up being a blessing. So if anything, I could say, be like the young folk, how we started. Take a chance, take a risk, take a dare. But more than anything, lean on God, depend on God. Know that your strength comes from Him, and win. Win.
Just win.
Just win.
Just win.
That was the quote. Coach Lloyd James Banks, the probably the most winning track coach in the state, maybe possibly the nation. Over 10 state championship rings. And his quote, his motto when we were at Marshall was just win.
Just win.
And so when I became a principal, I was like, just win. That's it, just win. So shout out to Coach Banks for that just win mindset. And that's what I do. Even my husband, like his big thing, he's a head baseball coach. Guys, just win. Hit the ball, just win. And so that's what we do. We focus on winning, and we try to win in every aspect of life. So.
Yeah. Well, that's what's up. I'm so grateful to share space with Sheree Bogany, the winner, the Principal Auntie.
Dr. TonyHolmes.
Hopefully this has been a blessing to you. Hopefully you can share this with somebody that you know who may need some encouragement. Maybe they don't understand some of the things that we talked about today. Or maybe something that spoke to your soul in a way that you want to share with somebody and be a blessing to them. If anything else, just win and keep winning by listening to the Limitless Podcast. I'll see you next time.